But if I were you, I would immediately avoid the blood-killing karma, meaning not eating the animal people who have been murdered for food. You don't see the cruelty, you don't see the suffering of the animal people in slaughterhouses, in animal raising operations, so you cannot relate to that. But imagine if it were you, cooped up in the small cage where you cannot turn around even for the pig people and for cow people, for example. It's also the same, similar, caged in. And sometimes even chained while alive. All kinds of injections will go into their body and give them a lot of discomfort. And then humans eat it. Not to talk about heavenly karma or anything. All these kinds of chemicals and filthy conditions which are soaked into the animal people will affect your health. That's why many people have cancer.
After hundreds of studies were analyzed, Tufts University reports that eating processed meat may increase your risk of cancer.
Back in 2015, the World Health Organization classified processed meat as a carcinogen, and carcinogen just means that a substance is capable of causing cancer. Now, current research shows convincing evidence that eating processed meats often can increase the risk of colorectal cancer.
In 2018, arguably the most prestigious cancer research institution in the world, the International Agency for Research on Cancer, the World Health Organization, published a report on processed meat concluding that foods like bacon, ham, hot dogs, lunch meat, and sausages are cancer-causing. Critics question putting processed meat in the same carcinogenic classification as asbestos or tobacco. Okay, so just how dangerous is meat? The relative risk of colorectal cancer was 18% for every 50 grams a day. Okay, so what exactly does that mean? According to the Surgeon General, living with a smoker increases your risk of lung cancer by 15%. So, breathing secondhand smoke day in and day out increases your risk of lung cancer almost as much as eating a serving of processed meat day in and day out increases your risk of colorectal cancer.
The evidence seems to be very consistent across many studies now, particularly for colorectal cancer, that red meat and particularly processed meat increased risk.
About 90% of the bacon sold in the UK is thought to contain nitrites. Daily intake of this chemical can significantly increase the risk of cancer.
etc.
In the olden times in China, the percentage of people who had the cancer was very little. Yeah, because they didn't have enough money to eat meat a lot, like in the Western countries. I don't know if anyone does research on that now, but before they did research, and the research said that Chinese people had very little cancer percentage compared to the West. The more money they have, the more they can eat all kinds of animal people products. Then the more hospitals have to be built, and the more death every year. Yes. So nowadays, people have more sickness than before. It's also because of karma. And the war also comes from blood-spilling karma. The world has to balance. We cannot just do anything bad and have good results in return. It's not logical. It's not scientifically logical. And not to talk about religiously logical, not morally fit.